Welcome back to, I'd say this is episode 2 of Getting Fighting Fit. I'm still working out how on earth I can get content. There is a girl at the class that I go to that videos like the whole class, but it's very, like, I'm not really in much of the videos. It's kind of getting annoying. I want to be doing content every day, but I'm new to this whole thing. I actually still cringe. Especially when I'm in the gym. See, if I'm in the separate gym where it's just like, it's not a Muay Thai class, it's just the gym. I can get away with it a bit more there, but I still feel weird asking to film when I'm doing Muay Thai. So today we're doing some elbows. If you've ever trained before and you've never done like actual Muay Thai and you've done like MMA or you've done K1 or even boxing, like you'll find the stances and stuff is so different and it's like a different sport. So when I first came to Asia, my thoughts were I was only going to train MMA in Thailand, and now I'm in Vietnam doing Muay Thai. Like, mate, you couldn't make that up. But I would prefer to do K1, but it is what it is. We're just learning Thai. Might as well. Not sure if I'm going to fight Thai. Maybe we'll go to Thailand and just do MMA. I'm just still trying to work it out. But the good thing is there's fighting classes here, and I'm just loosening up again and getting... Fuck, man. I'm so stiff. It's so annoying. I know if you watch the last one I did on this series, it's just horrendous. I'm still trying to figure out what the best schedule is. So currently I'm doing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm doing Muay Thai as a group class. But I'm like, nah, this is not enough. I'm going to have to fork out a bit more and go one-to-one with a guy. Really solid guy, like really knows his stuff. Jim's his name. So I'm going to be doing one-to-ones with Jim. I've already done a few. You know what it's like. You go into a class, it takes you ages to get the attention you need to actually correct the things that you're doing wrong. Because I was out of the game for fucking like 2 years, it feels like to me, the best thing would be to go one-to-one and try and make up for that time. Now, that will require a bit of money instead of just going the cheap route and going to classes and taking ages. I feel like personally, I've got 2 years to make up. You could see that as a bad thing, but also a good thing. Like the good thing is I'm not starting from zero. I was an amateur fighter before, like not like completely active, but I did a couple fights. I trained a lot. But what I realized when I was training a lot back home is I picked up some fucking stupid bad habits. And now they're coming out in the beginner classes. I'm like, damn, maybe I was like doing some stupid shit with stance and like, I'll give you an example. I used to train karate as a kid, like really small. I think my mum put me there when I was like 9. And they were like, I said to them, I'm left-handed. So that means southpaw. And they said, we don't go southpaw here. And so for years I trained karate as an orthodox. Do you know, looking back, how stupid that actually is? Why would you not let the kid go southpaw if he's southpaw? Like, I just think it's crazy looking back. What it has done is allowed me to fight orthodox, and then later on I just chose to start training southpaw, so now I can kind of do both, which is obviously good for MMA. Not so much for Muay Thai, like the guy was kind of saying that you've got to kind of pick one, but I don't know if I agree or not. I don't know if you've experienced the same where you kind of fancy changing stance or learning the other one, but you'll know how hard it is. Like, I remember the first time I tried to spar southpaw, I actually got battered, like senseless, and I just couldn't do anything about it. So I remember I got so pissed off that I threw an overhand left, and basically I think I broke one of these knuckles, but these are the strongest too. So I did something, or maybe hutted in a weird angle, because like my hand was shaking and it was sore for weeks. But it's because I was starting to get pissed off. People were hitting really hard and I was trying to do all the blocking, and you know how it feels. It feels fucking crazy, doesn't it? You switch stance and you're like, I've never done this before. That's what it feels like. As soon as you just switch stance, you feel like, I've never done this before. What's going on? I can't block. So I threw an overhand left, hit the guy here, and this bit, and that just split him, and basically broke my hand. That's what it felt like. So not a great experience to start off switching stances. But the thing is as well, it is the power. I've got the power on the southpaw and it does have its advantages. Obviously, like the liver's there with a kick, and my left kick is better than my right. But for you, if you're orthodox, you'll obviously not be saying that. You'll be saying that your right is. But it's just interesting how all this works. And for context, I'm 28. I did martial arts for a long, long time, on and off. When I started going to uni and college and working offshore on oil rigs, like I didn't have a consistent routine. So this is why I haven't just gave it up. I fought to get my life in a way where it's I choose my schedule and I choose where I'm at in the world. I'm not working on a shitty oil rig. I'm not working on a shitty construction site. I love fighting. I love freedom. I love health. I love saying fuck you to the people who tell you what to do. That's just me. And I think it comes from my upbringing because I grew up on a farm with an abusive stepdad. Me and him hated each other. I was just a young boy, you know, like we really just never, ever, 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 ever get on. Physical and mental abuse. But looking back, it toughened me up. And I've really got a chip on my shoulder when it comes to like authority. I don't mean that in a way it's like, I'm not going to start running about Vietnam causing trouble. That's not what I mean. I love and respect the authority and law in that way. Like all this defunding police in certain parts of the world, it's just retarded. Like I hate shit like that. I want to be somewhere safe. But you know what I mean? It's a sport. Fighting's still a sport. It still allows us to, as men, to get that competition without killing each other in the Colosseum like we used to be forced to. Do you know what I mean? Men have got some level of testosterone left in this fucking weird ass world that we're living in the 21st century, where it's soy boys and blue hair and eating beans instead of steak. I don't care if I offend you. You're not for my channel if you think that's fucking good, right? But you know what I mean? The guys who see it as it is and want to train and want to fucking fight and want to learn how to be a weapon with their elbows and their knees. This is the kind of life they want. You want to be able to be making money online in a country that is chill. It's also not just chill. In Southeast Asia, it's just a cool place. It's got a lot of fighting origin. Like imagine going to Thailand, which is my next destination, and their national sport is fighting. I come from a place where it's football. Like fuck off. Football is shit, man. You just want to fight. Sorry if you like football, but even if I watch sport, it's UFC. Or it's Muay Thai, or it's Glory. To all my Glory fans, like, what a fuck. I don't think it was publicized and televised enough. An amazing, amazing level of elite dynamic kickboxing is Glory. It is fucking unbelievable, man. So, this is the kind of stuff I like. I like getting healthy, fit, strong. I like fighting. But I don't like fighting people in the street. Like, you're probably thinking, yeah, you get it. Because if you train, and you see how people act when they're drinking on drugs and on the street, it's retarded. You just know that that's not you, right? But yeah, for all this time, I fought to get to Southeast Asia to be able to have the freedom to go and fight and choose when to train. But if you have been injured or you work a job that restricts your freedom or both, you will feel what I'm saying here. You can see people who were consistent when you're growing up and they got to fight and they did well. I've got a few people in mind who are like really good, and I really like used to respect that a lot. They were consistent, and they put the work in, and I was really happy for them that they won the fights because it's just brilliant to see. One of my old best friends was like a Scottish kickboxing champion at 16, so he got it from the start, and that's when I really just went off track, which is kind of stupid actually. I just went off track, started working jobs that weren't really allowing for the consistency that you need, which just, yeah. Anyway, I'm not too old. I'm 28. I'm coming from experience. So if you're getting older and you have an injury, or you did have an injury, or you've got a job that you hate and you're working towards freedom, I would say maybe do what I did. Put all the effort you fucking can into getting out that shit job, start learning skills online, make money on the internet, and then live freely so then you can choose anywhere you want to train. Because I do think that that's better than just half-assing it your whole life till you're 40 and then looking back and going, oh yeah, I kind of did it. It's like, yeah, but you're now fucking fat and old and you didn't really do it. Like, I'm not saying I want to be McGregor, for fuck's sake. I want to be an active fighter. And I think one of my friends advised against it because he thinks my ego is saying that because you lost 2 fights, that you're just trying to chase it again. I says, yeah, but I've done it my whole life and I just love it. And I've never here's the point, and think about this for yourself. If you've done it before and you didn't give it your all, you have to dig your heels in, tell everyone else to shut the fuck up and go for it. Because if you get old and you know and you look back and you didn't give it your all, this just doesn't go for fighting. It goes for everything. You will regret it. You will regret it. And I will regret it. I knew that. So when I was 23 years old, I had just finished university. And just a couple months before finishing university, I stepped in the ring and I went up in weight. And it was my first time fighting ever. And I fought a Muay Thai fighter. And it was supposed to be K1. So they got the rules wrong. So imagine this. 1 week's notice, up in weight, first fight ever. You put shin pads on because you think it's K1. You think it's 3 2-minute rounds of K1. You get in the ring. You see Spartacus standing across from you because he's fucking shredded to the bone. He looks like Gerard Butler out at 300. I'm like, fuck. I'm trying to put on weight to compete with his weight, and he's also shredded. So he must have been like 87 kilo before he like lost all that weight. Like, fuck, fighting an animal here. And then imagine your style is MMA and it's K1 and it's dynamic and angles and fucking heavy on the lead leg. And this guy's standing with, he's like that, you know, lead legs bouncing like fuck. And I'm like, oh. Then the referee looks at me and goes, you take off your shin pads, mate. And you're like, you're shitting yourself. Lights are on you. What the fuck you mean? I'm doing K1. K1 amateur rule says shin pads. And he goes, this is Muay Thai, mate. And I'm like, welcome to the cowboy show. That's what it was like. So not only did they get the rules wrong, the type of fighting wrong, they also told me to take my shin pads off because they thought it was Muay Thai. So the commentator even said, welcome to Smith versus Vadis. 5 1.5 minute rounds of Muay Thai. Then like a minute later he goes, pardon me, it's 3 2-minute rounds of K1. Like, bro, what make your fucking mind up? So I come out, my corner's like that. And Chris, if you're watching, you'll laugh now, but looking back, what the fuck? You're like, oh yeah, take your shin pads off, mate. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. This boy's sitting razor sharpening his shins with a fucking blade. That's what it looked like. Just ready to kick doors in with his shins. Oh, it's funny looking back, but it was horrendous. I got my leg chopped up like I just got it chopped up. It looked like a kebab at the end of it. But the point is, it looked like MMA versus Muay Thai because I couldn't do what I wanted to do, but I was fighting a Muay Thai guy. Like, what, bro? So that was one time, and then I went back to university, did exams and stuff, sat at a desk, didn't train, was drinking cola, eating shit, like being an idiot. Stressed at my box, trying to pass these shitty exams that I'll never use. I should never have been there. Ah, man, I should have been learning marketing, and I should have been doing other fun things instead of being an engineering student that I never... It also goes against my personality type. I'm a creator and a star, not a mechanical driven person. So you can imagine the friction. So I digress. Finished uni, went back to my hometown. They're talking about doing this massive event, this MMA show. I'm like, yes. I was just going to be a spectator because I've not been training since my fight. That I shouldn't have taken in the first place. Imagine this. You went up in weight, and a week's notice, fought a Muay Thai fighter that said he'd fought once 7 years ago, except he's fighting like he's fucking Dustin Poirier. And then you go back and you're like, how's everything going for this event? And they're like, oh, we're struggling to match up people. And I'm like, wait, is that not the easy bit? Like the rest of the shit, like alcohol licenses and tickets sold, and like I thought it was the easy bit, and it wasn't. So what happened is my friend got injured, and then I stepped in and says, I'll fight your guy. What an idiot I am. Like even back, I had it up here, and the thing is, I still have it up here. The mental, right? So I took a fight on a week's notice with a guy, and with this replacement, I think it was. And then my friend ended up saying he'll fight, and then the replacement I was going to fight pulled out. But I was in fight mode. This all happened very fast. I was in fight mode, which you can argue you wasn't because it was only a week, but you're in it when you're thinking, all right, I'm fighting now. I'm going to fucking fight. So then I said to my little friend Danny, shout out to Danny. He's running the club back home, legend. And he's like, I said to Danny, I was like, no, I'm in fight mode now, so get me somebody. And he should have said, fuck off. You're fat and you've just been sitting your arse at uni doing exams. So you're not fighting. Like he should have said that, but he went, cool, I'll get you somebody. Then he got me somebody who's had like 7 fights. but we were convinced that my striking would have been better than his. And it would have been. I just hadn't trained. I was out of fucking shape, man. Yeah, so it is what it is. And I took a fight on week's notice, went in the cage this time. Oh, fuck the ring. I'm good in the cage. I'm stepping it up. So the thing that I improved the first time, my first fight, was I started checking leg kicks. He couldn't land a fucking single leg kick. So yes, I do learn from my mistakes. Check the leg kicks. Then I made the most rookie error ever. I can see, I'll try and put up this video. You know, if you've done MMA before and you're driving people into the cage and they start trying to take you down, you do not pull away from them because it gives them leverage. You drive your fucking chin up into their fucking chin, right? What did I do? I went, oh, because it was in reactive mode because I hadn't even trained this and drilled it. So I go against the cage. He's trying to fucking lock my neck in, and instead of me going driving, I pull away, and then we trip. And this is where I fucked up, truly. So you know when you trip up, if I land in your side control, you're not going to fucking choke me out. But where did I land? Right in his guard. In between his legs. All the leverage in the world he wants. I'm in front of my hometown, 600 people or some shit. And he's got his legs around me and he's managing to put the most leveraged everything he had into this guillotine. And I looked at the mat and I'm like, what a tit. So I fucked it. Got guillotined. So within the space of 2 months or 3 months, I had done 2 fights on 1 week's notice, not giving myself... In fact, do you think doing that has given yourself the best chance of saying, yes, I can actually do this as a fighter. I've got what it takes. You might think, yes, you do up here. You might also think that was retarded. I might also agree. But physically... I hadn't given myself the proper chance. So I go back to my life where I'm like, oh, I hate this life. I'm working on oil rigs now, finished uni, didn't want to be an engineer. So let's go traveling and never come back. So I get a chance to go to Asia as a solo backpacker. And then that's what I did. I went to Asia. And when I came home, I committed to not ever working in this kind of life again. Fast forward 4.5 years, boom, I'm in Asia again. I committed to it and I promised myself, and I stayed true to my promise. I will get out of the oil rig life. I will unfuck my brain with all the limiting beliefs that everybody else around me's got, and be the comfort life everyone wants. This is not. I'll commit. I'm committing, and it was hell. It was honestly hell. That 4 years was complete turmoil in the mind because you're surrounded by it. You're surrounded by like people who are wanting to be normal and try to pull you into norm and saying things like, why are you being a tank cleaner when you're an engineer? And I was like, you're never going to understand this until one day you're watching this video and I'm living as a digital nomad and I don't get up in the morning to go to a fucking job. I make money from the laptop wherever I want. Now it'll make sense why I did that, because I didn't go and fry my brain with engineering shit on an oil rig to work for BP to get some package that they sell you that's amazing. Oh yeah, you'll get your fucking retirement, blah, blah, blah. You get your 2 weeks and your 3 weeks off. Oh, nice. No. I seen through that straight away. And I says, I'm not frying my brain with shitty equations for any dickhead. I will go do the monkey's work and work in a tank. And we used to call each other rat. We used to call each other tank rats. That was the name we got. You're a tank rat. Because they used to joke saying, MD can come off the street and do this job. So what? It's a man's job, I'll tell you that. And I hated it. And it tested you a lot, but it gave me a lot of perspective as well. So I did that job. Why? It's physically as shit, right? But what does it leave you with? This. At the end of my shift, okay, I was tired, but I was mentally sharp. It was like doing a workout. Hard workout, to be fair. I still had my mind on breaks, on lunchtimes. People will never understand it. They were just like, why are you not being an engineer? You're being a tank cleaner. I'm like, now, look at my life now. Does it make sense to you yet? So, that's been the journey of me getting back into fighting. But just before I got here, when I was working on the oil rigs, I hurt myself really bad, really fucked up my back. That's when I put the weight on, and this is why I'm a bit chunky. So, I don't know about you, but if you've ever put weight on fighting, it feels worse than putting on weight. Just say you're doing the standard, bulk and cut at the gym. It feels shit. Because not only are you not as light on your feet, you're stiffer, you're fatter, you're bigger, and you're slower. You're just like, it doesn't feel good. The only thing that feels good, and I will admit this, I can hit a lot harder with just every strike is solid. It's like, fucking hell, I didn't realize I've got this much power. But you can still generate that power with the weight off you. Maybe not as much, but with a technique, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that's it, guys. That's episode 2. I'm gonna wait to do some stretching. I hope you enjoyed that story of the reason that I want to live this life of digital freedom and just saying fuck you to everyone who ever said anything about me that it would never work. And I just love it. I just love having. It's not a negative thing to have a chip in your shoulder, because negative energy it'll take you through everything. It will let you go through and burst through doors that nobody else can, because they don't have it in them. Just take your negative energy, create the life you want. Come here to Vietnam and come meet me in Thailand. Let's train together and say fuck you to everyone else and yes to everybody who gets it, who gets this mindset. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. I need to go stretch because I'm stiff as a board. Yeah. All right, peace, guys.